Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dealmakers Live podcast. I have a very special guest today, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Eric Clark, founder and CEO of Lewis and Clark CRE Group. Welcome to the show, my friend. How are you?
It's great to be here, man. Always love your energy. Let's do this.
Well, it's great, excited to be here, man. I know this is a long time coming. You and I have an opportunity to connect early this year and looking to do a lot of work together now and in the future. But if you wouldn't mind, man, tell the group what do you do and who do you serve?
Primarily here in North Georgia, I do a lot of site selection, find the right sites for different vertical developers. Those developers are multifamily, single family, apartment, flex space, the large distribution buildings, industrial to include data centers. Some of my builders may be, C-stores for a large convenience store. So I'm primarily looking for land. My little catchphrase is I invest in land and lives. And the land side, people conceptually understand that. And the live side says, well, how do you invest in lives? Well, if it's a seller and I'm representing them, I invest myself in them so I can maximize the value of their property. Really pride myself in bringing the highest value per acre to the people that I get to do exclusive listings for. Also in the investing in lives, who else? Well, I might invest myself like with you, right? We've connected. We found a mutual platform where we both can grow our main volume, but also build a residual income. So we invest in each other now, right? So now I'm invested in Markel, right? And so we invest in each other in multiple ways. So for me, Lewis and Clark CRE Group, I'm direct descendants of both Meriwether Lewis and William Clark. I think that's really cool. And I tell people I don't get lost. You drop me somewhere, I can navigate and find my way. And so I'm proud to be with EXP Commercial. They're my broker, but my company's Lewis and Clark CRE Group, and it's what I do.
I love it. I love it. Can you tell us how did you get started? Because I know just more recently, I think you've been in real estate over the last couple of years. But where did this come from? How did what was your background, and how did you transition into to CRE? Why was that so compelling for you?
Yeah, so in Charleston, West Virginia, where I was born and raised, we had a family business that was primarily in the Appalachia area. We were involved in the mining industry, but also involved in military surplus equipment. That business grew with me through the 90s as I took it overseas, and I ended up selling equipment and then selling services into over 70 countries and traveled to 34 with allied governments, of course. And I learned how to do foreign military sales and work with State Department and so on and so forth. Got to represent a lot of military related private entities and private companies, and also with the alphabet soups of the Department of War. During that same time period, though, my dad and I, we developed some industrial parks where he had bought some property in the early 70s when I was younger, but cut my teeth on building one of the first big buildings that we did for liquid transport. They were a chemical hauler, built a beautiful building with, steam jennies and things in it and boilers. Most of our work related that was real estate related, we were the owner, the buyer, the developer. Later on, we bought some additional acreage, about 30 acres, and I built some buildings and they were all geared toward industry of trucking and warehousing and distribution. So in that, buyer, owner, developer, operator, all together. Went to get my real estate license though when I was in mid 20s, didn't take the test, took the information, should have taken the test, didn't.
Yeah.
And had a transition point in my life in 17 and 18 that found me in Georgia. And 17, one of my last seas over one of my last trips overseas, I was in kind of in harm's way in Afghanistan. I said, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not going to do these defense contract work anymore. I'd rather face a farmer in North Georgia with a shotgun than some guy with a raghead coming after me with a, AR.
Yeah.
And that was a transition point, and so I had that background of developing as the owner developer, mostly geared toward industry and truck related. Built some executive homes in that same period of time, and always kind of had a sixth sense for a piece of property and what it could become and what you could do with it. I grew up with topography in the hills of West Virginia, so it's not like we just had a piece of property that anybody could see it and say, "Oh, I can put this there." No, we had to learn how to use and maximize the value of the property that you had, and that's kind of how I cut my teeth. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I love that. When I in preparation for this, I was watching videos. I know you're making some content out there. You got your YouTube page, and we'll make sure to put that on the links for folks to be able to follow you there. But one of the things that you mentioned, I remember specifically, you talked about the man in the arena
Hmm.
in one of your talks. And
Yeah,
so I want, it's a speech that, or poem that or speech actually that I love, that inspires me. But it's also one that, the Invictus is one that I recite very often. I don't know if you know that one as well. That's one
yeah.
that I follow. But what does it mean to you when you say the man in the arena? Why did that inspire you as part of your talk?
Wow. So being an 80s kid, I grew up watching all the Rocky series movies, right? And it was just an unbelievable film. As I got older and went into my 20s, I learned more about Sylvester Stallone, the person.
Right.
And he wrote Rocky really was a tribute to his attitude and his never quit attitude because everyone gave up on him. Everyone said he was a loser,
Yeah.
not in the movie, but in person.
Yeah.
And no one would support him. Nobody would believe in him, but he never quit believing in himself. And so as I got older, already in love with the music of the Rocky movies, Eye of the Tiger, and I mean, it's some good stuff, right? Great music, but the movie itself, but it kind of stuck with me because I saw it when I was a kid, but it stuck with me through life and stuck with me as I played ball, and just the attitude of never quitting. Probably about 20 years ago, a buddy of mine, he every year, great friend of mine, Joey Holland, every year he had a Fellowship of Christian Athletes event in the state of West Virginia. And that one event he had every year would fund FCA in the state for the whole year. And he
Okay.
had an auction. And one year in the auction was this image of Stallone and Carl Weathers. It's called The Punch, right? And it's a black and white. I'm in a relocation right now, so I don't have it up, but it's always been at my desk.
Yeah.
And everyone recognizes it as the punch that Rocky beat and knocked out Apollo Creed. But to me, it didn't represent that at all. As soon as I saw it, it really represented to me how many times did he get back up to throw that punch?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
man in the arena, right? You get knocked down, you get back up. You get
Yeah.
knocked down, you get back up. And I think that's why everyone loved those movies so much because it was just that mentality of I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to stand here until you kill me and I'm going to give it my best, right? And
Yeah.
that really became a lot of just who I am.
Yeah.
Is in my core. My dad taught it as well. You just never quit, you never give up. You always believe in yourself. You always keep pushing forward. And life brought me some tough resets. And so when I think about the man in the arena, I also think about, new opportunities and how do you connect to those new opportunities when you do get back up. So yeah, that means a lot to me. I love the
Yeah.
fact that you brought that up.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm always finding things to be, inspired by, right? When I'm a student of history, and as I love to bring energy and passion to what I do,
You?
inspire
You?
to inspire the people. But, it's funny. I look at, like I said, leadership. I'm a big leadership person, and there's a lot of different areas in my life that I pull leadership and pull experience from. One of the guys that you and I both admire and love, Bob Knackel up in New York.
Oh yeah.
I actually just saw a post that he had. It's probably from a few weeks ago, but he was talking. So I think somebody asked him a question where they were talking about, about the CRMs and how did, before he doesn't. This gentleman who asked the question doesn't have a lot of, doesn't love a lot of the CRM out there, all the new technology. He just wanted to know how Bob, who's been doing this for a long time, what did he do before all this technology came out? And he gave his answer. And but what I took from it was, and this little piece in in his response was that he still has a coach.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of the top, if not the top investment sales broker in New York to this day
Right.
for a long time. He still has a coach. And so, how important is that? There it is.
His coach right here.
There it
They wrote
is.
a
That's
book
right.
together.
That's
You
right.
know, that's his coach right there.
That's his coach and Rod, right? So what does that mean for you, right? Because you're a leadership guy, you're building a team, you're doing your thing. How important it is for for you to not only be a leader and a coach, but have one.
Exactly. I have several life coaches and men of integrity, men that have me beat by about 10 years, men that have been through the fire, tested. They do things the right way, the right time when no one's looking.
Yeah.
And that's really important. I've had some who are maybe more of a spiritual mentor, some who are more of a business approach mentor, some who have been more of a fitness mentor. Maybe they're more geared into the emotional aspect versus the analytical aspect, but you do well to have a small circle,
Yeah.
a really small circle, right? And as you get older, sometimes that circle gets even smaller. But the people
Sure.
who stand with you and can walk through the fire with you, um, a specific coach. Right now, I would say, do I have a specific coach on the payroll right now? I don't right now. Have I in the
Mhm.
past? I do.
Sure.
Do I have people I'm accountable to each week? I do. And that's really important to have that group. Tiger Woods had a golf coach. You talk about a coach always takes you back to the basics. Think about Lombardi, right? And guys, this is a football. And everybody knew he was going to run off right tackle. He's going to do it anyway. He's like, okay, we're going to do this. And they'd run the same play over and over and over. Same play
Can you stop it?
until you
You
stop
stop
it. I often watch these games today and I think to myself, okay, that guy just ran that route and you missed him. Why not do it again?
it.
No, we're going to save it till the fourth quarter and try it one more time. Anyway, but I think that you look at those who've just really exceeded, and Bob, you bring him up. He's constantly with his coach, right? He's
Yeah.
going to be with him in Vegas this week, and they're hosting a huge event at the Sphere, and he's going to be with his coach. And he's arguably the number one commercial real estate broker in the country, definitely in New
Mhm.
York City.
Yeah.
But he does things repetitively and consistently, and that's part of why I'm doing starting my Monday mornings with my new Clark Coffee Huddle. Right, I want
That's
to
right.
do it Monday morning, so I can be a better steward of the people I'm working with. But the real talking point is, what do you do every Monday to make your week excellent? What do you do every Monday to make you excel? And I'm gonna have someone just talk about that a little bit and give everybody an opportunity to say, hey, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I need real quick. Get off. No long conversation, 30 minutes, but continually doing the same thing. Bob, I think he mentioned he has a checklist. I keep one by my, it's right here. Every day I date it. And when I get done, uh, this one expired 6/25. This one expired 1/25. They're just little books, right?
Yeah.
But I can look at every single day in every one of these. And I got my current one right here, and I put a little box, put something I got to do with that person every day. It's there,
Yeah.
and I've got to get that done. And if that doesn't get done, it goes to the next day.
Well, it's
So
funny, one of the things you and I talked about a week or so ago, you mentioned having the visual, right, in your office
yeah,
and
I
how
do.
important that is of the things that are going on. And I remember I asked my wife's a teacher, and I said, "Do you have any of the the posters that stick?" She's like, "Yes." So she has a home office upstairs. So I have I adopted that where you start having the visual of your goals, the visual of what you're looking to accomplish, because it's easy to get distracted in the world
That's
that we're
right.
in today. It is very easy.
Yeah,
As I
they're the
think about,
Post-its.
okay, say it again.
They're the Post-its, and the ones I use are a 25 by 30 inch. I can see one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. I've got seven of them up with different things on my walls. Consist of about 15 projects and probably about 150 names.
Yeah.
You were on one of those posters, and then I have another little list over here of just some goals. I want to see my goals every day, right?
Yeah.
It's not just an idea. If it's in your head, I uh, had some partners at one time in my life and did not end up being a good experience, but it sure did teach me a lot. And one of the founding principle, he always said this. I really appreciated this and come to respect it. If you just think about it, it's an idea.
Yeah.
But when you put it to paper, you can now put a plan around it,
That's
and
right.
you can begin to execute. And that's so true. And so I really appreciate the fact that I learned that from him. And I've got all kinds of things that are written up in front of me, things I need to do. I want reminders. There's certain things I want to do every single day. Tom Trung, he's somebody in our EXP organization. He's built a fantastic organization. 1,400 people in his downline now. His residual lifestyle his residual income and the lifestyle it's affording him now, he can take off for 2 months and go have a vacation. He keeps getting paid because of this platform we've connected to with EXP, and he's grown this residual income. But he told me, so one of the things I do every single day, so this isn't a lot to a lot of people, but something I've always done every day, two new leads, two new people I can sell for, two new people I can represent as a buyer, and two new people I can contact about my organization every day. Two, every day.
every day.
You know,
Simple. It's a simple.
Knackle, get this, 100 phone calls a week he still makes, a
Yeah.
hundred
Yeah.
to potential land property holders that he can talk to about maybe representing and selling their building. And he does one thing, only one thing. He sells buildings in New York only if he has exclusive listing.
That's it. It's
That's
nice
it.
to, well, and I think that it sort of highlights the importance of breaking things down and just keeping them simple. And it's
Systems,
the simple every day. It's the steps. It's the boring stuff, but it's the good stuff because
systems and
it may not be the most
processes.
exciting, most sexy thing, but ultimately the results will get you that. And I wanted to take a step back real quick because one of the things that inspires me about mentorship, right? Like my philosophy, always important to have one, always important to be one, right? Whatever level you are. And so if you stick your arms out, everybody to the right of you is sort of where you're chasing, right? These are the folks that are doing what you want to do. So I look at what you do. I look at what Tom Trung does. I look at what Bob Knackel does. Like I'm trying to learn. These are what these guys do. I'm chasing this. But at the same time, look, I've been in the game too. I got people on the left of me who are trying to come to the level that I am. And so, what I love about, right? What I love about this thing is everybody to the right, I can learn one piece of information. And without a huge gap, I can give that information to somebody on the left that could change their life. And look, there's a lot of goals, a lot of things we're going to do together. There's a lot of things that we're going to accomplish. But I will tell you this in my heart of hearts. This has been my philosophy forever. It's all about the people and helping the people. And so when you do that, if I never hit this dollar amount, if I never create this business or build this business over here, I know for a fact if I don't make it past tomorrow, I've had a positive impact on
Yeah.
someone's life. And that's so important to me. These other things are important. All of it together is important. But it's really important for me to connect with people. And the people that know me, they know that. It's all about elevating and promoting those people.
And the people on your right, you want to go to great distance, and I'll travel great distance to be with the people on the right.
Yeah,
I'll do creative things to impress upon them that I'm sincere.
that's right.
I don't want to, you may see somebody you want in that right-hand side that you want to gravitate towards, but it can't be of a selfish reason. It's got to be of a mutually beneficial reason, right?
Yeah,
You got to bring added value. I mean, why do they need you? Maybe they probably don't need you,
they
but
don't. They
yeah,
don't.
but there might be a connectivity where you can bring add value and it's sincere. So that's a great thing. And then on the left, well, who am I to think that the person on my left may not be the person that needs to hear from me?
Yeah,
I need to be all inclusive, right?
that's right.
And you never know. Again, as you said that, I thought of Knuckle because I was with him recently down in Miami, and we were walking outside of the hotel, and man, he just had the best engaging conversation with the concierge desk as we were going out. And he said, I can't tell you how many times I've ended up getting the sale of a building because of a relationship like that. So right
Yeah,
hand, left hand,
yeah.
and you got to be sincere and honest with both of them and treat people with integrity and build great relationships on both sides.
Well, it's funny that that's a perfect transition because, look, I would consider myself one of the best networkers in the world. It's just what I do. It's a passion of mine. And it's so important, I think, and for to be genuine, right? It's one thing to, I'll give you a quick example. Somebody recently asked me, "Hey, let's go to lunch. I want to pick your brain." And I said, okay. I said, look, we're going to go to lunch and we're definitely going to talk. I go, but here's the deal. Here's what I would do, how I would approach it differently, right? I would say, look, instead of saying pick your brain, be like, hey, look, I would love to see if you had an opportunity to get together, Markel. I love what you do. I see what you're doing. It inspires me, and I just want to hear your story.
Yeah,
Right. Because then it's just, if you just, I'm going to pick your brain, it's just a one-way kind of conversation. And I'm
that's
all
true.
for helping people. but it just doesn't come across the way it needs to. But if you're sincere and you're like, hey, look, I love how you roll. I need to know how you do this, but is there some value that that I can bring? But I'd love to hear your story.
Yeah.
And that's just appealing. It's like because people that
I,
have had success, they love to talk about what they do, but if you go at it just on a one-way scale like that, it's tough and it just doesn't come across the way it should. And so I've learned a lot of these things over time. One of the first books I ever read in business was How to Win Friends and Influence People. That was the first business book I ever read coming out of college. And it was common sense. It wasn't like this was just, my nature was to help people and it was all pretty common. But what I realized was, I'll never forget this. My first job was at a company called Aerotech. It was a staffing company, probably
mhm.
one of the largest privately held at the time. The owner was Steve Bisciotti, he became a part owner of the Baltimore Ravens while he owned that company, and then he ended up buying the rest of the Ravens. And so, but I remember that first week we had first week in the office, second week we had to fly to Baltimore for a week of training. And I remember reading the book, getting to the end of it, and we were on the way to the airport. And it was a storm coming up the East Coast, Atlantic coast. So flights were delayed. And this is before we had smartphones and barely had cell phones at the time. And so, I remember sitting in line, there's no apps to check in. I was in line to get in, and the person in front of me was just berating the woman behind the counter because his flight was being delayed. That's nothing that she can control. So I remember I said, I got to try this. I remember walking up to her and saying, I just want to apologize. I heard the conversation and to think that this person thinks that you're responsible for the delays in the flights. And I just want to tell you that I appreciate the work that you do and I'm to apologize for this gentleman that he treated you this way. And she put me in first class. I didn't ask for it. And I just remember, and I'm like, wow, like, okay. So for a long time, all I ever did was, I would always ask, but I would be charming, be
So the
nice.
next time you went to an airport, you did that again. The lady looks at you and says, or the person behind the counter says, "Well, we don't have a storm. We don't have a delay."
No, no. Well, what happened was I learned how to negotiate. I would go and say, "Can you put me in first class? Look at the leg. Look at the long legs. I'm 6'3". Can you help me out in first class?" And they would sometimes they say yes, but a lot of times they say no. But we'll take care. We'll put you in the exit row. And I was like, perfect. I was like, I appreciate the help. So the bottom line is again, it's how you treat people. How important is that? And when you think about building relationships, getting relationships, how do you go about establishing that rapport with folks, whether it's at a networking event or a conference? How do you go about doing that? Not only getting them, but keeping them. Good
Hmm.
relationships.
A lot of good stuff there. You could talk about for a while. That sincerity is the most important piece there. Today I know what my focus is. So my focus is investing in land and lives. I'm a commercial real estate guy.
Yeah.
And I want to grow volume in deals. So investing in land. And we'll talk to investors, property holders, other developers, right? People who have capital market opportunities, um, investing in lives, whether it's a property owner and or somebody I want to grow my organization with in 50 states and in 30 countries through the EXP platform.
Hmm.
So I'm constantly looking for, I've always done this. I've always wanted to bring added value to the people that I've met. When I see them, if I like them, if there's something that attracts me to them, then I'm looking and trying to create a way, okay, how can I bring added value? And we can really have some synergy. Because to me, first of all, you got to enjoy the person you're talking to. If there's some common areas that you agree on and you can do together, great.
Yeah.
Then how can you bring sincere added value to that to where you both can benefit from it and you can work together and you can thrive together and you can excel together? What's wrong with that model? Nothing's wrong with that model. That's a beautiful model. But I think you do it sincerely based upon, this is my efforts, this is what I do, this is who I am. And yeah, my right arm, like what you said, is open to have that greater sphere of influence.
Hmm.
And then my left arm is open to bring people to me. So how do you nurture that? One of the reasons why I'm starting tomorrow, this new Clark Coffee Huddle, is to be a better steward of the people that I'm working with, right? And you can't make relationships over here and then lose them. You got to invest and build those relationships. You got to keep in touch with those relationships. Chris Meyer with Contractors, Closers, and Connections. That's how we met.
That's right.
Contractors, closers, and connections. kind of says it all. And he brings people together, like-minded people who have a like-minded interest, going in a like-minded direction, and you have an opportunity to meet all those people going the same way within a network where you can grow relationships, right? So how powerful is that? Well, you can't just go there and stand in a room and not meet them. You've got to engage.
Yeah.
And you can't just meet them, then you got to spend time and call them. I mean, how long did you and I talk to each other before we finally sat down and talked to each other? It took effort, right?
Yeah.
But we saw, hey, there's something here. And plus the fact I just, as soon as I saw him, man, I like this guy a lot. He's really
Hey,
cool. And that's
follow
before I knew
up.
you, and that's before I knew you had sacked Donovan McNabb. And now I've seen it in color. So that's super cool.
Donovan, don't hate me. I did get you twice. Don't hate me, but go ahead.
Yeah. So, you have to be a good steward of everything you've been given. And relationships, you've got to constantly be cultivating those relationships. I've just started a series. I've released the first one. I sent it to you. It's called Seven Lessons from the Hayfield.
Yeah.
I was out riding my mountain bike and I saw these tractors, putting this, cutting all the hayfield down and reaping the harvest. Man, there's got to be a story there for commercial real estate. There's got to be a story there for property owners. There's got to be a story there for growing your commercial real estate business. I went home, I jumped in my chat GP5 and said, hey man, let's give me seven lessons from this. And boom, it spit it out. It's like, okay, I want to have a truth concept to it. I want to talk to the property owner. I want to talk to the people who are building a business together. So I took my Labradors, went out, a one-man show, set it up, and I made seven edits that are coming out. First one's coming out this week. It's a little, 2-minute video clip that talks about preparation before the harvest.
Yeah.
And part of that, one of them is going to be one of the lessons is going to be about, being a good steward of the relationships you've got. How important is that? Very important. You
Very
got to
important.
cultivate them. You got to work at them. They don't just happen.
No, it takes time. And like you said, cultivate, follow up, add value, be genuine, and I
Outside the
think
box thinking, be
outside the
creative.
box. Yep. And good things will happen. So you look to, the podcast is called Dealmakers Live, right? It's all about deals, deal making, connecting the dots, meeting with new people and have an opportunity to add value and connect. What advice would you give to an aspiring deal maker?
Persistently show up to the platforms that you can connect to that bring that added value. Don't quit. Don't show up once a month and think you're doing it. Uh,
Mm,
Constantly be present. James Huang, Huang, he's out in Seattle, Washington area now, Washington State area now, but for several years he was the EXP commercial president, industry disrupting individual, unbelievable, dynamic personality, very visionary in his thinking. But he says this one thing all the time, and it's so simple. I mean, he's serving on one of the universities in California right now, AI board. I mean, the guy's brilliant, right?
mhm.
This is what he says all the time. And tell me how difficult this is. Just show up. He says it all the time.
Yeah.
And he has Renaissance, which is now a global reach. It's in over 20 some countries. Thousands of people are participating, thousands upon 10,000s. And it's all based upon relationships
Yeah.
and at a global scale in real estate. Different people are on board. And every time he has a call, there's 40 to 60 people on the call. And you know what I'm doing? Keynote speakers, I'm in the chat room. Hey, this is Eric Clark. I want to meet with you and connect. And I connect with them on LinkedIn, then I have a conversation.
Yep.
I did that this past week. Really super sharp guy in New York City. He's in capital markets, he's looking for opportunities and he's grown an organization. And I introduced him to Chris Meyer. And yeah, so I didn't just meet him, I listened. Well, you
Yeah.
said, right?
Yeah.
And I asked him, hey, tell me about what you're doing. Let me hear your story. Oh, let me connect you to here. So I asked for the phone call and set up the Zoom, but when we got off, I wasn't asking for anything. When we got off the call, the very first thing I did, I introduced him to two more people,
Right.
right?
Yep. It
Facilitating.
is the lifeblood
Yeah,
of finding good people, adding value,
yeah,
is again, of course, there's a really good book I read called Give and Take by Adam
yeah,
Grant. I don't know if you ever read that one. And I read it a while ago, and I love the book. It's it's kind of like a research project. So sometimes, he as he goes through the chapters, he's kind of beating a dead horse a little bit because it's all about the data and he's just
Yeah.
reinforcing the data. But it's a really good book with the concept of, there are givers, there are takers, and there are matchers, right? And so one of the big key points from that book that I got from it was, you know, some of the best salespeople in the world are unconditional givers.
Hmm.
At the same time, some of the worst salespeople in the world are also unconditional givers.
And
And
they
the
get taken
trick of
advantage of.
they get taken advantage of. So the trick is, and I took it, look, I give everyone the benefit of the doubt. But now I test people. I just tell, I want to know how you roll. I want to know, like, are you somebody like, you pointed out, hey, all of a sudden you're introducing me to three or four people. I'm like, wait, we just met. And even though that's something I do, it's still a fun,
How,
good feeling when that happens.
how many people have I introduced you to?
Oh God. I mean, 2025, like in a short period of time, in a very short period of time, people that you introduced me to some people that I might have even already met or know, but didn't really connect with, and now I'm having a good conversations with.
And
So it's
high level people.
high level people,
And,
very
and they're bringing added value.
100%,
Right, right.
hundred
So,
percent,
right.
100%.
So,
I mean, Tom Trung. When I went up to Boston to the CCC Boston rollout a few months ago, have an opportunity to hang with him. We actually made a video and sent it over to James. It was pretty funny. So inside joke, but yeah, but that was, I mean, yes, it's a really good feeling, and it's fun because this is something that I do, and it's fun when you surround yourself with folks that are again like-minded that do the same thing. That's how you win.
so
That's how you win.
oh, I got a segue here. So
Yeah.
let's talk about the power of the EXP platform, a brokerage that we're both brokered by. So the residual income that's available through EXP, there's nothing else like it. There really truly isn't. And through Chris Meyer, in the spring, I was introduced to a gentleman, but Chris Sakalaban.
Mhm.
Sakalaban. He's in Chris with a K. He's in St. Louis. So Chris Meyer with a C introduces me to Chris with a K, and we start talking. Chris Laban doesn't have a real estate license, but he's got this network that's huge and powerful on Facebook, all real estate related, right?
Yeah.
So we present to him and show him, hey, here's an added value concept for you. If you're interested, we'll have this conversation. Well, you know what he did was smart. A lot of people don't do this. He tapped the brakes and slowed down and listened.
Hmm.
A lot of people miss opportunity because they'll never tap the brake. Oh, I already know about that. I'm familiar with this, or they think they know it, or they're afraid, or they're comfortable, or whatever reason. Okay, whatever. But they never tap the brake and slow down. Chris Laban tapped the brake and slowed down. And he listened and he learned and he applied.
Mm.
He didn't have a real estate license, which you have to have a real estate license to participate with EXP. So he goes and gets a real estate license. Today, a few months later, he's got an organization in Dominican Republic, Mexico, and in all throughout the United States. And when I say an organization, he's got other agents that he's now working with in his revenue share that's building his residual income.
Yep.
And he was just this week in Beverly Hills at the Contractors, Closers, and Connections event,
Yep.
meeting people, hanging out with Jim Huang for his first time, somebody else we've been talking about,
Yep.
networking, connecting, growing, um, investing in himself and in others through genuine relationships. And one of the things I've learned over time is how powerful it is to be in the right room with the right people who have integrity and don't just want something from you, but can bring added value to you.
Mm.
I have found that place. It's the best location I've ever been in.
Yeah.
And for that, I'm so thankful. So thankful.
Well, that's what happens. When you're open and you're working hard and you're genuine, I think good things tend to happen. I think the hardest part in the last 20 plus years because of technology is the distractions. And I
Yeah.
think that, when you can decide, hey, this is what I want. And I need, you and I had this conversation. I'm like, hey, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
Here's how I want to bring my unique skills and the things that I do to it. How do we formulate this and how does this work? And we laid down a game plan and I started adding to that and bringing things on. So that is, to me, a bona fide way to start having success with cutting out distractions, not making it complicated, and literally doing the little things over and over and over again
Right.
every single day. It's been
Processes,
fun, my friend.
systems.
I'm going to wrap this up, but I wanted to give you an opportunity. Where can the people find you, sir? Where can they
Oh my
find
gosh. Where can they find me? Um, I don't have it here on the screen, but you can go to on LinkedIn, Eric Clark with Lewis and Clark CRE Group.
Yep. And we're gonna put
Um,
the links, by the way.
yeah,
We'll put the links on
my
the show notes.
website is Lewis and Clark, the sign and CRE.com. I've got a YouTube channel called Atlanta Land Legacy.
Okay.
Putting some video content there. And if you email me at eric.clark@expcommercial.com, eric.clark@expcommercial.com, I'll exchange all my information with you. My phone number is 770-878-7334. I'm in the Suwannee Johns Creek area. And my organization today stretches from Mexico to Europe to all over the country, and it's growing. So yeah, I'm easy to reach, easy to get a hold of.
I love it, my friend. Well, listen, appreciate you taking the time. This has been a lot of fun. We will do it again in the future. I will actually talk to you tomorrow morning, so looking forward to the new coffee talk to kick the week off. And really appreciate you taking the time, my friend. Thank you so much.
Oh no, you're the best, Markel. And I appreciate the opportunity here, and I really appreciate the opportunity to just get to know you and hang out with you. And I still think I could take you in the post, but we'll talk about that later.
We're gonna talk about that later. I don't want to pull a hamstring, man. You can get me out here. I don't want to pull a hammy.
I had a
Thank
good
you.
drop, stop, and a fadeaway. I don't think you could have got it.
All right, brother. Thank you
All
very
right,
much.
see you.